I wrote a questionnaire, what will the 21st century hold? Maybe there'll be a time all over North America, and with people, teams sent out from here all over the world, maybe it'll be a time of people preaching radical messages and living radical lives filled with radical power, making a radical impact, blazing with fire and setting people and cities and nations on fire. Maybe it'll be different. It's a strange sight when you see one of these gorgeous cathedrals and it just can seat 150 or 200 people. You think, what in the world is it for? What is church? I can't believe for a split second it's the will of God that we build these multi-million-dollar buildings and fill them once or twice a week for a lovely meeting. We could get rid of this foul notion, which is an unscriptural notion of going to church, as opposed to understanding that it's a matter of being the church. Lord, what does it mean? How do we live it out? How do the walls come down? I cannot relate to the American dream. I cannot relate to the mentality of just having a nice, happy life. The primary reason for lack of opposition, and the primary reason for lack of persecution, and the primary reason for lack of resistance is because we are toothless and ineffective. But when we get empowered and filled with fire and shake things up and drive back powers of darkness, all hell will break loose against us. And that's when Jesus said, rejoice! Some of us will have the privilege of shedding our blood for the gospel. Some of us will have the privilege of being raised up to high places in society and being influential. But either way, we live and breathe for one thing. God, I've got to make an impact. Before I close my eyes and say goodbye to this world, I've got to change things. I don't understand how else we can think. What else is the purpose of our life? I don't care what the calling is, whatever it is, our mentality must be the same. There's nothing else that makes any sense. Jesus came into the world to change the world, period. There was one purpose. He was going to go to the cross and die and rise from the dead and send His Spirit on those He had called out and equipped so we could go and follow in His footsteps and make a difference. We must take hold of it afresh. We must consecrate ourselves afresh. We must eat it and live it and breathe it and think it and sleep it. We are here to do the will of God, period. We are here to make a difference, period. And everything else is secondary. Whatever God gives us in this world is so that we can go and set the world on fire. Jesus, the revolutionary, who came to overthrow the status quo and set up the kingdom of God and drive back the powers of darkness, and said, leave everything and follow me. All over America, with thousands and thousands of young people gathering together. Some may be planned for a few hours, will last a few days. Some may be planned for a night, will last a week. God just coming. People worshiping and seeking His face and called right then and there to leave everything and go out and train and get on the field. We've been born for this hour. We've been made for it. On to Calvary. On to death for the world. Let us not refuse the smiters. No halting. No rest. On, suffering, sorrowing, weeping, dying for God and men, till the hosts of hell fly from their last defense, and we march on over a burning world into everlasting glory. Jesus, the revolutionary, who came to overthrow the status quo and set up the kingdom of God and drive back the powers of darkness. Everything in us that's of man, that's not planted of heaven, root it out. Some of us will have the privilege of shedding our blood for the gospel. There's nothing else that makes any sense. God, I've got to make an impact. Before I close my eyes and say goodbye to this world, I've got to change things.